Good evening and welcome to the Ferguson City Council meeting for December the 17th. Meeting is now called to order. Let us stand for a solemn prayer and the pledge allegiance to the flag. The pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, Assistant City Manager, Interim City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Councilwoman Miller,
Here.
Councilman Ferguson,
Here.
Councilman Cassoff,
Here.
Mayor Jones,
Here.
Councilman Franklin,
Here.
Councilman Palmer,
Here.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table bill number 7321, which is on second reading this evening.
Is there a second? Let me come and say, I'm sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Bill number 7321 has been tabled. We move to our public comments. Our public comments, we ask that you will come up to the podium, give us your name and your full address. For example, I live at 7789 somewhere street, Ferguson, Missouri. I need your name and your full address when you come to the podium. At this time, speak up. Dave, please call the first person for the public comments.
Thank you, Mayor. First on the list is Leroy Thompson.
Madam Mayor, council members, manager, my name is Leroy Thompson. My address is 423 Nancy Place, Ferguson, Missouri 63135. I'm approaching in regard to, I guess, my support. I'm here for my support of Chief Troy Doyle and the fact that what I'm hearing, not knowing, but hearing, that he's still in contract negotiations in relation to his tenure with Ferguson Police Department. Now, my understanding of this particular issue is that from what I'm seeing, he seems to be hitting all the metrics. He seems to be doing a very, very good job. And I am very confused. Maybe it's driven by Chief Doyle himself, or maybe it's driven from another position. But my whole point is, can we afford to lose him at this time? So this is why I rise, and this is the only thing I really have to say. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next on our list is Jill Holtrip.
Is it possible to start the timer after I give my address? I need every second.
Dave, is that my thing?
Is it turned on?
Oh,
I'm not.
are you able
have
to
a
hear me?
green light? It's on.
Okay, cool.
Okay, you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Right. I'm Jill Holtrip. I live at 100 South Clay in Ferguson, Missouri. Oh my gosh.
What?
Part of my notes are at home. Okay,
Improvise.
well, what I was going to say is that the signs from the Urban League, I think, was very well intentioned. Unfortunately, they just didn't stop to inquire of the various municipalities to see if they would be violating any ordinances, but I know it was well intentioned. So anyway, I'm here because as we are on the threshold of a beginning of a new year, I thought I would like to mention a few things. Ferguson was founded in 1855 and incorporated as a city in 1894 with a population of 1,000 people. That means Ferguson is 170 years old. So of course, there have been millions and millions of moments in time, but unfortunately, Ferguson is currently being remembered for only one moment in time. My moments of time in time here were between 1950 and 1964, and then began again 9 years ago when I bought my home on South Clay. My intention of moving back and investing here was to do what I could in my own small way to help restabilize my hometown, Ferguson. I wanted to be part of something positive and productive for my community because this town is filled with some of the most magnificent people I have ever met. I've lived in probably 15 different communities so far in my life, and I've never encountered such a group of talented people who love where they live and who are so invested in their communities and have offered such sincere and deep friendships as the people here in Ferguson. I feel that we have temporarily lost our way for a couple of different reasons that were beyond our control, but we can easily find our way back. I know there are people who are discouraged about some things right now, but if we're willing to look towards the future and look at what is possible to create, then we can change the discouragement to excitement for the future. Ferguson is a terrific place, and I believe that we can take Ferguson to be something that is even better than it was before. A place where everyone feels at home, is proud to call Ferguson their home, and where everyone has an equal sense of belonging. We have terrific leadership in our city government. We have great council members, and I would like to thank all of you, including you, Mayor Jones, for being willing to do the thankless job of seeing to the business of Ferguson. While there are there's always differences of opinions in any community about how things should be done. How those differences are handled between people makes all the difference in the world. And I have faith that when we work together in civil and compassionate ways to move our community forward, there is no telling what we can accomplish together. So I just wanted to say that I'm excited about what the citizens and the elected officials and the city staff of Ferguson can accomplish together in 2026.
Thank you.
Oh, well.
Next on our list is Dendel Phillips Berwick.
Hello, Madam Mayor and Council. My name is Wendell Phillips Berwick. I go by Phil. I live at 417 Nancy Place, next to Leroy, Ferguson, Missouri, 63135. Madam Mayor, I don't think it's right that we have to announce our address up here to the whole public because we do write it down when we come here. I just want to put in that complaint. At this time of peace on earth, goodwill to men, I pray that we can, since he's invisible, we can be his feet and we can be his hands. I also want to ask Madam Mayor and the council, we've been working hard to save the paper. Bob McGartland of Robin Hood and myself have personally been covering the overruns. And we're both small businesses. Bob's trying hard to get ads. It's not why I'm up here, but I want to put in to ask you to consider putting your mayor's report back in there, at least if nothing else, a police report, and just help out a little bit with it. We'd love to hear from you. You know, there's a lot of law firms that have been making a lot of easy money off of us. I'm going to spend the rest of the time, just, you guys have seen me up here 3 or 4 times now, starting at the top of 2025 and just announcing what law firms we were paying thousands and many hundreds of dollars to on a daily basis. Some of them 5, 8, 10 billings in one day. And the detail isn't there of what they've actually done for us. So I'm going to start reading from these 47 pages I got through the Sunshine Act. In one day, Lewis Rice LLC charged us 10 times on September 12th, 2024, $3,500 for professional services, $3,500 again, same day, professional services, $4,266, it's blank. $3,339 IT data support on that day. 185 litigation, 238 litigation, 1,616 litigation, 742 blank. It doesn't say what they charged us for. 662 professional services, 1,881 litigation, 5,273 litigation, all of that billed on one day. 13 seconds. I'm not even gonna continue with Lewis Rice. I'll see. That money's gone to Never Never Land Council. Stay strong. You all have to be unanimous that we've paid enough. We have a good, solid police department and good policing.
Thank you, sir.
Next on our list is Rick Allen.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City Manager, and my fellow residents. Good evening. I come before you tonight to request that the
Sir,
city,
I need your full.
Oh, very sorry.
address.
Rick Allen, 834 Gerald Place, Ward 1, 63135.
Thank you.
Sorry. I come before you tonight to request that the city do everything possible to retain and assure Colonel Troy Doyle remains the chief of police for the city of Ferguson. When Colonel Doyle arrived, he found a grossly undermanned and demoralized police department. There were barely enough officers to run a patrol on our streets during the various shifts that were going on, and not enough supervising sergeants to manage those shifts. At the time, many cited the consent decree as a reason for the lawlessness that ruled our streets. It was said that the decree tied the hands of the FPD and nothing could be done. As a result, the police chiefs had not prior to Colonel Doyle, had taken a minimalist approach to law enforcement. Chief Doyle, by contrast, reasoned that the consent decree requirements for constitutional policing did not give scofflaws the right to do as they pleased and endanger the lives and the property of residents. Changes were put in place to push back the chaos in our streets with the resources available. In conjunction with these changes, Chief Doyle intensified recruiting by putting in place multiple tiers of screening, utilizing both FPD command staff and citizen police personnel interview board. The chief let it be known that wearing an FPD badge carried a high standard, and only those committed to being the best need apply. News of these changes, as well as the chief's reputation for being an effective leader, made the rounds of the law enforcement community. Former FPD officers contacted friends still here in the police department, and several came back to serve under Chief Doyle. Officers from other departments applied to work here too because of what they heard. Under Chief Doyle, we've accomplished more toward meeting the court requirements of the consent decree. Thank you very much. I encourage you to keep Chief Doyle on staff.
Thank you, sir.
Next on our list is Carl Roberts.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Carl Roberts, 25 Hornywall Drive, Ferguson, Missouri, 63136. I have a question. I wrote a letter addressed to Mayor, Chief Doyle, Mr. Palmer, and the city manager, because I won't have enough time to discuss it all. Would I be able to give you this when I'm done?
Give it to the clerk.
Okay. It's concerning my next door neighbor. I've been at Honeywell for 34 years, and it's been nothing but a nuisance. And the last 12 years is just totally out of hand. And just to give you a brief summary, they park on the opposite side. They park the wrong way on the street. They park on the line. They work on their cars on the line. Sometimes they have the car parked up under a tree with the hood up, working on the car. And if I was to try to sell my house, you know, any of you, nobody's going to buy your house when they see your next door neighbor doing something like that. The son's been in trouble. You guys will be able to see once you look up the record or whatever. There's drugs going on there. There's trespassing through my yard all the time with the people that he deals with. They damaged my line. I've got a couple of pictures in here. And please don't take that as minor when you see, because it's major to me, because I try to keep the yard nice, and this is going on every year. And this is just a little small section. It's not all the damage. I don't call you guys, the police, for a lot of this, because I know they have a lot of things more important to do than this. And finally, I did meet with Captain Dilworth, I'm sorry. And if you don't have it already, I think he's going to look up this guy. As I asked, could you please look up the number of times that the police have been called to this residence? And I'll guarantee you, this will explain everything that I'm talking about in here. Just the trouble that goes on over there, and it's mostly domestic between them, but this affects me because I'm right next door to it and I see it all. I got cameras. I bought cameras, security cameras, just so I can watch what's going on and protect my property because of them. And I hope you would take this serious and see if you can, you know, help me out on this.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Next on our list is Mildred Kleins.
Mildred Klein, 7444 Castro, here in this great city of Ferguson. For over a century, the Urban League has fought for economic empowerment, social equality, civil rights, and racial justice for African Americans and underserved communities, focusing on closing gaps in education, jobs, housing, healthcare, and advocating for voting rights, fair policing, and ending systemic racism through programs like job training, housing assistance, legal advocacy. Their core mission is to ensure opportunities aren't determined by zip code and promoting self-reliance and power. The National Urban League, and the NAACP are respected and vital institutions cherished by the Black community for their longstanding efforts in civil rights, economic empowerment, education, and social justice, acting as powerful advocates against systemic racism for Black progress through legal action, direct services, and policy advocacy. The mission of the Urban League of the Metropolitan of St. Louis is to empower African Americans and others throughout the region in securing economic reliance, social equality, and civil rights. As the leading champion of empowerment and opportunity for African Americans, the Urban League of Metropolitan St. Louis envisions a region where all people are valued members of the community, can adequately support themselves and their families, live in neighborhoods that are vibrant and thriving, and share in the region's prosperity and well-being. And here in Ferguson, that's all that the African Americans that live here, that's what we want. We want to live in a community where it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know, we're tired of facing the racism that's going on in the city, and we're going to fight racism every time it shows its ugly head. I do not appreciate the racists that are here in Ferguson attacking my cherished institution, the Urban League. And I'm speaking specifically about the sign that says, Urban League, slow down. All I've heard month after month to year after year about the traffic and the reckless driving. All they're doing is asking people to slow down. It's a simple thing. And there are people with their arms up in the air about that. I believe it's because it's the Urban League, so leave them alone. Let the signs stay up. I love seeing the signs. And I'm just welcoming everybody that wants to come to the city. This is a great city to live in. It really is. But, you're gonna see some racism, but if we stand together, we can fight against all of that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Klein.
Mayor, that is the last name on our list for the regular public comment portion.
Okay, we have anyone on Zoom? Okay, thus in the public comments, I want to speak to the gentleman who said you never come up here and give us your full street. I implemented that because of several remarks, and I'm not gonna repeat remarks, but I don't want to hear that rhetoric anymore, okay? That's why I'm asking for your full address. Traditionally, I just ask you for your street and not the number, but tonight I ask you for everything simply because the rhetoric is no need for it, okay? Let's move on. City manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council. Mayor and Council, it's a pleasure being here tonight. I'm first going to bring up Patricia Washington. She's our consent decree coordinator, and I'll let her explain a little bit what's happening right now.
Okay. Good evening.
Good
Thank you,
evening.
Mr. City Manager. Good evening, council members. I am very pleased to be here tonight because, as you know, we've been working very, very hard to meet the requirements of the consent decree in a number of substantive areas. And we've made a great deal of progress, especially within the last quarter of 2025. We are at a point where I'm happy to say that all of our hard work in community policing and community engagement is now ready to be evaluated. And we have the federal monitor's renowned subject matter expert here. She's been with us and be with us all week, visiting with residents, talking with people about the work that the Ferguson Police Department is doing as it relates to community policing. So I am proud to have with us tonight Dr. Lee Anderson, and she can tell you a little bit about the work that she's doing and hopefully some of the feedback that she's getting.
Patricia, just before you leave, is this Article 25 of the consent decree?
This is Section 3.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. Thank you so much. Evening, Mayor, council members, city manager, community. It's a pleasure to be here. My name again is Dr. Lee Anderson, and I am a member of the Ferguson monitoring team. And I am here to look at 4 things. And so I just want to be a little bit clear about what those things are that I'll be looking for this week. The first is I'll be looking for confirmation that the city of Ferguson has incorporated consent decree paragraphs 19 through 34 into its policies. Okay. That it's trained all relevant FPD personnel on their responsibilities relative to those and relevant to those policies. That the police department is embodying community policing and engagement into not only the policing model, but also into carrying that out into the community. And then lastly, just carrying out the requirements of the policies into practice. So I would also like to remind everyone that we have a status hearing with Judge Perry on Thursday, December 18th at 10 a.m. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, do you have any questions for Patricia? Hear none? Okay. One, Patricia, would you come back, please?
The young lady you introduced, does she work with you on a daily basis or is she from out of town?
Dr. Anderson does not live here. She's part of the subject matter expert team that I can call upon if I have questions about how to proceed with a particular issue as it relates to community policing, because that is her area of expertise. Anytime that we have phone conversations or conferences with the monitor, if there is a specific area that I may need help interpreting, or because of her work with other police departments. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Dr. Anderson is that she's not just here to check the box. Her goal is to try to see how she can help us exit the consent decree and do so in a manner that is consistent with the intent and the spirit of the consent decree. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patricia.
Okay. Okay, so I also have two new employees I want to introduce. Luke Lombardo, or Nathan Lombardo, I'm sorry, and Luke, I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong probably, but we've had it, right? Burkowski. I did it. And I'm gonna have Luke come up and explain his role within the city, and then I'll have Nathan come up and give a little history of himself and where he's at.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, residents. Thank you for the chance to introduce myself. My name is Luke Borkowski. I'm the new Planning and Zoning Coordinator with the city. I've been working here since November 3rd. I have a strong track record of community engagement that I look forward to bringing to Ferguson. I've interned with the city of Chicago in their planning department. I worked for a year as an AmeriCorps volunteer, also in Chicago with an affordable housing development. I've spent time abroad through the Fulbright program, teaching English. So I enjoy engaging with people. The last 2 years, I've worked with the state of Missouri as a caseworker for juvenile offenders. And I have my master's in public administration with a focus on cities. So I look forward to exercising that here. I've already been to some community events, a few neighborhood association meetings over the last month, as well as the Christmas tree lighting, which was a pleasure. So I look forward to working with you all. Nathan, I look forward to working with him too. And we've already been brainstorming some ideas, reviewing our procedures. And yes, stay tuned for some positive updates. Thank you.
And also, I just wanted to also bring up that Luke will be also very instrumental with Patricia and also with the police department and with our apartment managers. And keeping that going, that communication level. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lombardo.
Madam Mayor, members of council, my name is Nathan Lombardo, and for the members of the community who don't know me that well, I know I've worked with some of the council members and you for several years now. I'm a two-time city manager of Berkeley, and I'm a Ferguson resident. I grew up on North Maple, a couple blocks from here, and an aunt over on Tiffin, another uncle on Monceau, and the gentleman who lives on Harneywold probably knew my grandparents and my mom, who lived at 45 for decades. So very familiar with the community here. Really is an honor and a thrill to work for my hometown. I spent a lot of my childhood in this very building when it was a library. So I know a lot about the history here. Yeah, long time ago. My family moved here in 1987 when I was 6. So yeah, long time ago. But really, really excited and honored to be here. It's my hometown. I'm here to help. I want to put my experience and expertise to the advantage of everyone. And I've done what I can to go around City Hall and meet all the staff and offer my help to everyone here. Anything I can do to make their lives better, easier, I want to do. Any opportunity I have to give advice as best I can. And just get used to seeing myself and Luke at all these meetings all around the city. If you're a business owner, we're going to come say hi. If you're at a community meeting, we're going to be there. So yeah, we just want to do the best we can to update our policies and procedures, modernize, innovate. The city can be and do whatever it wants to do, can be whatever it wants to be, and there's no reason that we can't be a leader. And I absolutely intend to do what I can to help us be that. So very happy to be here.
Thank you, Nathan.
Mayor and council, that is a report. I know we have a couple of hearings tonight, and that's why I kept it brief.
Councilwoman Noah.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Since we're still in the city manager's report, I just have a couple questions. The first question, well, thank you to the new hires. You're very much welcome. The next question is, will we meet the new hire for code enforcement in January?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The next question is, city manager, the utility pole work being done on West Florissant between North Windsor Stage Drive and Highmont. Can you speak to that work or?
So I believe Corey Gilbert has more knowledge on that.
Okay.
I could probably say something, but I don't want to be wrong.
Okay.
But I know he's talked to a couple of the neighborhood association meetings that he's been there and has talked to them. I will make sure that he has a report in January on that
Okay.
for council.
Okay. And my last question for you at this time is, when boards and commissions or any outside entity utilizes the Jolly Trolley, is the city compensated for the usage?
So with what you're asking for, there are arrangements made between organizations and the city that does compensate the city. Yes, ma'am. And maybe not monetary ways, but in ways of advertising and things of such. And we do a lot for other, just not boards, but also like events that happen. We do the extra that needs to be done.
Well, the reason why I mentioned it, because some residents asked about that. It was mentioned in a neighborhood meeting that the Jolly Trolley was going to be utilized for people to for the house tour that's coming up. And we just wanted to ask, because I know that for FSBD, whenever we utilize the city resources, we have to complete an application and there is reimbursement due to the city. And so residents just inquired so they would have an understanding about that.
Yeah, I don't remember charging FSPD for this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
So, and so that was just staff that we ate. And it's just like the Jolly Trolley taking everyone down to the consent decree. We don't charge them, but I believe, do we, Dave?
Okay.
So
Well,
the Jolly Trolleys are used for the citizens.
Okay, and that's fine. It's just residents do ask
Yeah.
because, money's tight and everyone wants to understand where is the money, that we can have accountability of all of the city
Yes, ma'am.
resources.
I think everything should be accounted for.
But thank you. Thank you,
welcome.
Mayor.
Any other questions for the city manager? Here done, the city manager report is closed. We don't have any special presentations for the night. We move to our first public hearing. City manager.
Yes, Mayor, the first one's going to be on rezoning PZ 25-63. This is going to be the out of body place up on Purcell, and I believe it's at Charlotte. Am I correct? So Dave.
We have 4 people signed up for public comment in this portion. First one is gonna be Marcus Anderson.
Yes, sir. It's on.
Marcus Anderson, 1529 Charlotte Drive. Thank you for giving me the time to speak. I'm here to speak in opposition to the proposed rezoning of 1550 Charlotte Drive from R1B Single Family Residential to C1 General Commercial. Since this business began operating in the area, traffic and crime on Charlotte Drive has increased significantly. We now experience frequent tow trucks and parts delivery trucks traveling down our residential street at multiple times throughout the day, often at excessive speeds that are unsafe for a neighborhood with homes, pedestrians, and children. These large vehicles have blocked the end of the street while loading and unloading, creating additional safety concerns and potentially restricting emergency access. Noise impacts have also increased due to repeated truck traffic, vehicle movement, and commercial activity that is incompatible with a single-family residential neighborhood. In addition, the business is already using the parking lot across Charlotte Drive at 3800 Purcell Road to park vehicles. The business was represented as fixing and moving vehicles, not storing them. The off-site parking and vehicle storage demonstrate that the scale of this operation exceeds what is appropriate for this location and is already spilling into surrounding areas. 2 homes have already been demolished as part of this expansion, including the home at 1550 Charlotte Drive, which is now the subject of this rezoning request. Seeking rezoning after homes have been removed sets a dangerous precedent and encourages incremental commercial encroachment into established residential neighborhoods. I originally opposed this business coming into the neighborhood for these reasons. The cumulative impacts, speeding trucks, increased traffic, noise, safety risks, vehicle stowage, and loss of housing continue to grow. At what point does the city say enough is enough? For these reasons, I respectfully request that the council deny this rezoning request without prejudice and direct staff to require traffic and safety study specific to Charlotte Drive, including truck traffic, speeding, and blocked access, enforce existing zoning and operational conditions, including restrictions on vehicle storage and off-site parking at 3800 Pershaw Road, and prevent further commercial expansion into this residential neighborhood until documented impacts are addressed. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, sir.
Next person on our list is Melinda and Mark Beal.
I'm Melinda, and this is my husband, Mark Bailey. We live right across the street from 1550 Charlotte Drive. And
What is your address?
1551 Charlotte.
Okay.
We are unhappy about what's been going on with it, but now we know that there's nothing we can do about it. But we would love to have it blocked off so we don't have to see it and have more damage done to our property. I have pictures here showing damage that has been done to my property, and I'd like it to be stopped as soon as possible, and some other way of them being able to, if they're gonna be able to do it, I want them to be able to come in from a different direction and not in front of my home. I don't want to see it in front of my door, and have maybe get a privacy fence of some sort, if that would be possible. You got anything to say?
That's good.
Okay.
You can leave the pictures with the clerk.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
No, you're good. Next on our list is Jason Butler.
We get, they will call out of turn. We get to talk first.
It's okay. My name is Jason Pecker. My address is 6041 Northumberland in Ferguson. We're with the owners of the property. Our intentions are for a secured lot, a private secured lot to maintain the growing business and to store vehicles that are to be worked on. The business already exists, so as far as the traffic, I think the traffic is going to be there whether we rezone the neighboring lot or not. We need the secured lot for expansion, or we need to expand the secured lot so we can make sure that our customers' cars are secured while we work on them. Also, we believe that by keeping the lot secured, the property of our customers secured, that it will keep the bad element out. That'll be like the path of least resistance. Maybe they'll get down the street, but they've had I don't know, dozens of thefts this year in vehicles in an unsecured lot at this point. Towing of damage to property would be definitely the best interest of our community. We want to play nice with the community, and if there is damage being happened to neighbors, we'd certainly like for there to be some accountability. We're not a towing company, so we can certainly hold our subcontractors and stuff responsible for damage.
Okay, sir, you are the part owner.
I work for the owner and project
You work for
manager
the owner.
KLB Holdings and Complete Auto Body.
Okay. Before you leave, do we have any other residents that would like to speak? So what I would like for you to do is take a seat. We'll let the last resident speak, and then you come up because the council has questions for you.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you.
I'm gonna ask a clarity question because I believe you're Christina.
Yes.
So I can skip you. So the last one on our list is Paul Kuchenmeister.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I don't know if you recognize us, but we were here in.
I need your address.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. 1415 Charlotte Drive. We were here in February or March for this very same issue because we knew it was coming. As soon as they tore the house down, we knew that they weren't going to stop there. And it's not zone commercial yet, but it's paved with gravel. And there's 14 cars on it this morning. And there's 14 cars on it every day, give or take, you know. So they are blatantly disregarding what the zoning is of it at the current time. So I hope that the council has a record. We had a petition signed by the property owners on the street asking that this not happen. So I hope that's still a matter of record here. That's it for me.
It is. Thank you. You all may come back. Thank you. Okay, Councilman Castle.
Okay, I first want to make sure I understood the residents correctly. I thought I heard somebody say that they would consider it a positive step if Charlotte was blocked off at the north end so that there would be no through traffic on Charlotte to Pershaw or to the business, or is that not the case?
No, not at all.
Okay, so you don't want that and you just want it rejected.
No, that would just restrict.
I mean, I know that's not, I know ideally you'd like it to be zoned residential and not used for the auto body shop. Would it be better or worse to you if the street was blocked and it couldn't be used by tow trucks? And, you know, you guys said tow trucks coming by your house and things like that. Would it be an improvement to you if that became a local street that didn't serve the auto body or Pershaw?
You can't close the street. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's a city street. You can.
I would be okay if it was just acknowledged that we have signs already at both ends of the street that say no through traffic. It's not a cut through street.
Understood. But enforcing it's the problem.
Yeah. Exactly. The large trucks going back and forth through the street are a large problem on our small street. I've been in this area my entire life. My grandparents have been on that street my entire life and then some. So this street has never experienced this much traffic before in my entire life. If they could keep the tow trucks at that end coming and going. And they can turn around in the line. That would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Other lots that they have, but they have here.
Sir, thank you.
Okay, so ideally you'd like the street open, but you'd like them not to use it. I'm assuming, sir, that the tow trucks that bring crashed vehicles to you are not your tow trucks, and you might not even know who it is until they get there, and therefore wouldn't have the ability to control that situation of them using that cut through.
Yeah, I mean, unless there's something that's enforced or posted, I would say no. We can't.
Well, we can't have a police officer sitting on that
Sure.
street all day on the off chance that a tow truck's going to come to your business and cut through their residential street. And that's not a big residential street. That's a small, narrow street.
Absolutely.
That isn't designed for commercial traffic at all.
Right.
And your predecessor in that business, yes, the business was already there, but evidenced by the fact that you've torn down a house and graveled over a residential parking lot, which I believe in its own right is a code violation, because it hasn't been rezoned yet, as the residents said. You are evidently doing more business than the previous owner did, which is great. We love our businesses to succeed, but out of respect for the people who were already there when you got there, we need you to succeed without negatively impacting their neighborhood. And I want to resolve those issues before we proceed with this.
Absolutely, yeah, we definitely want to be friends with the community, and we certainly do.
City manager.
Yes, Mayor, I also think that some of that traffic that Shell, the way it is, and with the daycare and with, other businesses right there, I'm sure they don't want to go all the way down to West Florissant, so they're cut through Charlotte. Maybe the city can look at potentially maybe putting a speed hump there, if possible, if we see that, and we can also do a study in that area as well, with the Jamar device that we do have to see what type of traffic, what type of vehicles. And then I do not see why we could not post anything about tow trucks not being allowed down that street.
Okay,
But that's
Councilman,
something that we would have to bring to the traffic commission.
okay, Councilman Franklin.
Is there a reason why you've been using this residential lot to store your vehicles?
My understanding is that when they tore down we thought that, or somebody thought that it was already zoned commercial, that was already in the package with tearing down the building and the permits involved in that.
Have you received any violation letters from the city?
Nothing.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Covington.
So the petition that was in February, I wasn't on council. Do we know how many people signed that to say that they didn't want it to be rezoned or that they didn't want them to
It didn't
use the
come in
lot?
February. It was a couple of months ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I
thought you
take it
said
was still
February.
here.
Okay.
I'll say, if you'd like, I can check records, but I'll have to do some digging. Those aren't my files.
Okay.
Right. It was a couple of months ago. Okay, Councilman Palmer.
At one time, one of the residential dwellings that was, the one that was closest to Rochelle was actually commercial use. It was an insurance office, if I recall correctly, but did it have like a special use permit to operate in a residential district, or was it? Go ahead.
So the first two lots, as you're coming down Charlotte, are zoned as commercial. The third, which is what they're looking at right now, is not. It's R1. So the first two are zoned and have been as commercial.
And based on the way that map looks, those likely were at one time residential lots too, I would assume, because they're kind of, they look to be similar in size to what the lots are next door. I guess one of my questions is the use really hasn't changed and the building that they're doing the work in hasn't really changed. So I guess I'm just not sure, you know, I know that there's been a proliferation of deliveries just by virtue of Amazon, you know, like there's a lot of trucks cruising, like the city manager said, that per shall work that I-270 work that MoDOT did has really altered traffic patterns significantly throughout residential areas, especially in Ferguson Woods. I mean, people are coming off Central City by Home Depot and coming all the way up to Starbucks through residential neighborhoods instead of going on the Dunn Road side. So this all kind of boils down to our communication with MoDOT that we're becoming somewhat frustrated with what's happened with, you know, and I'm sure emergency response has been horrible.
Emergency response, because we've added at least 5-6 minutes per call to that area and to Millstone in no way itself. We've expressed that to them. We have not gotten anywhere with them. The Morrisons have the same issue as well. Right? Plaza most likely now, just because of that as well. So they know that Rochelle and Dunn, the way they've done it, is an issue, especially in Orange County, but big county.
Yeah, if you look at 367, they did this decades ago and it decimated commercial real estate on both sides. There's basically nothing left.
That we have before it's stopped to, we still have that issue. And those roadways are being done, and SDP, this year.
I guess my next question would be then for the applicants and staff too. Has any kind of civil site plan been submitted that shows what the plan is if this were to be rezoned as far as fencing, illumination, screening? You know, has anything been done as far as from a professional standard standpoint to kind of, you know, measure the impact of this or to show what it might look like or to address the concerns of the neighborhoods in the area?
The one that I think there's going to be a fence, chain link fence with slotted with the covered slots so it'd be more privacy fence. The thing that they're getting for the vinyl and the wood is because it's easily picked at, right? And I have looked at some of their other buildings, and I've looked at some of their lots. They do keep it clean, fairly clean. There's one on St. Charles, I believe, correct?
Yeah, there's multiple ones.
Yeah, and I mean, they do have a lot of cars, but they are behind fencing, and it's kept neatly. I think the biggest thing is the tow trucks with for showers. That's something that you guys probably invest with some of your tow truck companies.
I mean, it's obviously, we can't be tearing up the neighborhood and our own properties too. Yeah, there's some responsibility. And honestly, you know, as far as if I'm gonna go west, leaving that location, then I'm gonna go down to the street and go to hit up Washington Elizabeth. And otherwise, like I said, I'm down the street, and I add to that traffic when I leave that location, because otherwise I'm going up the street to West Forest and turn around. Just to piggyback on the per shop rerouting, everything they did there. It's
Another question I'd have is, does staff have any kind of a recommendation from the planning side? And has planning and zoning weighed in on this as far as their interest or their concerns as well?
It did go in front of planning and zoning, and they approved it based on the specs that they were given as far as the fence and everything else. Yes.
And I guess also with the EMS side, City Manager Hampton, I mean, theoretically, if you were to block that street, you're not going to affect emergency medical services at all, because you can't go east or what, you can't go on Pershal that way from Firehouse 2, right? You're coming Elizabeth anyway, right?
Yeah,
It would be
depending
turning,
on the nature of the call, but I mean, yeah, we will come down Dunn Road now and come back across Washington.
Right.
Or we'll come up, depending what may be faster. We look at traffic, time of day, maybe quicker to go down Hudson and come up Elizabeth. So, blocking the street to me is not a good thing. It never is with fire, because our trucks are big. They're not, if you block something off, they're not easily turning around and going back around. So to me, I never want to block street, but that's me.
Yeah, turning around becomes an issue obviously for apparatus, and also the residents who live at the end of Charlotte would have a little bit longer route to go eastbound on Pershal, but then again, they'd have a dead end street. You know, there'd be nobody driving through essentially at that point. It'd be pretty nice, pretty private, but it would inconvenience them by about 2 minutes probably to head up to Elizabeth, then go down to Pershal.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Just right quick,
Okay, Councilman Williams will go after Councilwoman.
can the resident, the man in the green shirt, can he repeat what he said about a traffic study or what his suggestion is? I didn't hear that clearly. Because, you know, we do want to work with the residents, because I know if I lived there, I would, you know, probably have something to say about this as well. But I just want to hear, can he repeat what he said?
Yeah, so basically we could do what he's asking with the Jamar device. It tracks the size of vehicles, the type of vehicles, the speed of vehicles. And we can do that all with the device that we do our street studies with.
Okay. And that was his suggestion? Not the
He's asking for
Jamar,
a
but
study. Yeah,
a
he's
study.
asking for a study for.
Okay.
the street
Was that it? Was
speeds.
that completely it?
Yeah, my request for required traffic and safety study specific to Charlotte Drive, including truck traffic, speeding and blocked access, enforce existing zoning and operational conditions, including restrictions on vehicle storage and on-site parking at Pershal Road, and then prevent further commercial expansion through the residential neighborhood until the document that's addressed.
Would you make a hard copy of your request and turn it into the city clerk? Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Williams?
Do you live in Ferguson?
I do not.
Do you own your house?
Yes.
Would you like an auto body shop in front of your house?
I mean, nature where I live, not necessarily. I mean, I'm in the middle of a subdivision.
So your home is your biggest asset. And so I'm for business always.
Sure.
But by you guys expanding, you're actually reducing the residents' home value in that area. So the problem that Atlanta is having, Atlanta grew too fast.
Right.
I mean, the highways and roads that they built in the sixties and seventies do not support the traffic now. But it can be Sunday and it seems like it's Monday because it's a
I have
grid.
family in Atlanta, yeah.
Right, so you understand.
Right.
So I am for business and it's great that you guys are expanding, but you have to think about the residents as well. Like, I would not want an auto body shop in front of my house.
Absolutely.
And tow trucks at all times of the night. So, you know, I want you guys to make money, but whatever resolution, you know, I want you to keep the residents in mind because, like you said, you don't live in Ferguson. And you said you probably would not want an auto body shop in your front yard. So it should be a happy medium. But I'm actually more on the residents because I would not want that commercial.
So my question, the nature of the fence. So it's if we had chain link fence with slides versus which, you know, I don't want to talk about cost necessarily, but if it was a vinyl privacy fence, I know we talked about the vulnerability of the vinyl fence, but for us to maintain insurance contracts and stuff like that to keep operating the existing business, it needs to be a secured lot, and for our own
safety,
the liability, safety,
absolutely.
and you know the theft is with the last couple of years have been crazy. So
no, I agree with that.
If it's something that's more aesthetically pleasing, that you would have if one of the other neighbors put up a fence that was a vinyl privacy.
So I think what they're saying is it's not just about a fence. It's the extra traffic. And if you're a tow truck driver, you need to drop that car off and get to your next call.
Sure.
You don't care if you're rolling in someone's yard. So it's good that you guys are growing and expanding. It's not so great for the residents because if they put their house up for sale and they see that auto body shop, they might not be able to sell it or they'll get a reduced value.
Sure.
It's like the cheapest real estate in America. If you're close to a cemetery, most people don't want to live near a cemetery.
Right.
So you can get those houses dirt cheap. And I've never been to this area or seen it, but it seems like the infrastructure is not set up for a business of your size or that magnitude. So whatever you guys work out, you know, think of the residents as well.
Yeah, I think we definitely aren't looking to be menaces to the neighbors, and you know, I don't want to debate, but we certainly would care if our contractors, subcontractors, or anybody who's doing business with us, any towing company is tearing up the neighborhood, then somebody's got to be liable. We don't want them damaging property. There's accountability.
Are not your
You out of order. Councilman Franklin.
Question. So how long have you been parking cars on that lot?
Maybe a couple months. I think a month and a half.
So about 2 months?
Maybe so.
And this business, is it minority owned?
It is not.
Okay. So this is just kind of a general statement. So since I've been on council, since I've been observing here in Ferguson, there is a perception that minority businesses are held to a higher standard as far as following the rules and regulations of our city. And it's troubling that you guys have been parking those commercial vehicles on residential property, going through this process, and you haven't been warned, or I guess you said you didn't receive any notice, didn't know you were doing anything wrong. So for me, that's just kind of like, man, that would never fly for a lot of our other businesses in this city, because I've seen people highlight the deficiencies in some of those minority businesses. So I'm just letting you know, I'm kind of with David with this. I have to listen to the residents. I haven't heard anybody come up and support and say they want this in their community. And again, for me personally, it's just troubling that you guys are non-compliant with our rules now. And I guess you were unaware of that. So that's
I
a little
mean,
troubling
I know
for me.
ignorance is not an excuse, and I'm not on the operations side as far
So
as that
I guess
goes.
before this gets cleared up, is there a plan to remove those vehicles from that?
We
commercial
can,
zone?
yeah, they can be moved.
Well, I think the
Absolutely.
residents of that community would appreciate, you know, if you guys followed the rules.
Sure.
City manager.
Yeah, I don't think this is a thing of minority owned business or not. I think maybe we're in a time period where we did not have a code enforcement person from maybe potentially Ward 1. And I kind of take a little bit of offense of you saying that we pick on black.
So it's the perception. I'm not
because
here to argue.
That's completely wrong.
I'm not here to argue whether it's true or false. I'm just telling
But
you
it's-
the
but that's the
perception in
wrong
our
statement
community.
put out
Well,
there.
again, you know, I want everybody to be aware of the perception in our community, no matter if we're sensitive or not to it. I just want you to know there's a perception.
A point of order at this point, and we still in this planning and zoning hearing to hear from both people. At this point, I'm going to hear from Councilman Cassoff, then back to Councilman Williams, and I'm gonna close the hearing.
I didn't have any.
You didn't have anything else?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Williams.
Yeah, whether it's a minority business or not, I think is irrelevant. I want you guys it's just a business. My main concern are the residents. So whatever's been done, I think they should be involved every step of the way. You know, I want you guys to succeed and expand, but always keep in the back of your mind the residents, because they have to live there. Like when you close, I don't know where you live, but you're going to your quiet subdivision, and it might be some more delivery trucks coming, and they have to hear that. So I am always for business, whether it's minority or not, to come to Ferguson. And in this situation, please keep the residents in mind, because their home is their biggest asset. And that's how you accumulate generational wealth, passing down that home.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're definitely conscious of the community, and we want to, play nice and support everybody. Business hours or night delivers at 6 a.m., maybe usually more around 7. I'm not there on a daily basis, but 7 to 5 after, once doors close at 5, then there's no more deliveries. So.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I have one question. When your business decided to expand, did you notify the residents? Did you call them over and had a conversation with them? Or you just...
I wasn't involved at that point. I don't believe that did happen though, man. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, thank you. City manager. Okay, rezoning the PC 25 through 55. The public hearing is now closed. We move to our second special use permit. City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, this is special use permit PZ 25-59. This is a daycare on West Florissant. Dave, you can go into a little bit more detail.
This is the special use permit to allow the daycare within the boundaries over there in West Florissant. It's been brought up multiple times. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I believe everybody's aware.
You have anyone for public comments?
I have one, Mayor. I have Ms. Mildred Kleins on the sign-up sheet.
Ms. Kleins?
Mildred Kleins, 7444 Castro Drive here, this beautiful city of Ferguson. I'm standing before you today about the daycare that's wanting a special use permit. And all I like to say is that's in an area where there's some apartments, a lot of apartments. And in those apartments, you have a lot of young families. And I think that would be so beneficial to those families if they had that daycare right there. And I'm all in favor of it. And I just want to speak on behalf of that ward that's in Ward 3. I live in Ward 3. I don't live on that street, but I do live in that ward. And I used to be a young parent myself and trying to find daycare that was conveniently located before I went to work. That was really crucial. So I just advise council to grant this special use permit. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council. Councilwoman Orr?
Well, this is, the daycare plans to be behind the fence in front of a bus stop. Is this correct? That's the location of where the daycare is. Okay. I'm not in disagreement with it. I do believe that the daycare could be purposeful in that area. as a council person for Ward 3. I mean, it's not a business that's going to bring any negativity. And so I definitely support it at this point. I don't see any reason why we should not. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Williams?
Well, I'm just gonna be candid and transparent. I think a daycare there would be beneficial because you have a lot of people who ride the bus. They can drop their kids off, take the bus, go to work and come back. And I was all for the daycare, but I had some concerns about some pending criminal charges. And, you know, that's why I held up. So if you want to elaborate on that, and to be honest, I don't care whose name it is in, that's irrelevant to me because a lot of businesses put it in a family member's name and this person runs it. To me, that's irrelevant. But if you're dealing with children, and by the way, that's one of my businesses, is childcare. If you can speak to that, because I really haven't had time to research that. But like I said, I'm for all businesses, and I think you guys will be an asset to the community. But if you can respond to that, so it's clarification.
Is the owner of the daycare here?
It's my little brother, he's not.
Is the owner of the daycare here?
No.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Franklin?
So I think just like the other hearing, we allowed an employee that works for the owner to speak. We need to let this young lady speak on behalf of the daycare. And then I'll ask my questions, kind of similar to what we did with the first. I want to hear from the applicant or the representative first before I ask questions.
You may approach.
Okay, hi, how are you? So,
Who are you?
my name is Simone McClellan.
Address?
I don't stay in Ferguson. Would you still like my address?
Address, please.
Okay, my address is 1020 Lakeshore Drive. I stay in St. Charles, Missouri. May I speak now?
Continue.
Okay. Would you like for me to address Mr. Williams first or Mr. Franklin? Okay. So, I do have a criminal case that is going on. I had a non-for-profit organization that I was a part of as being a part of the board. With that being said, money that was a part of the board was not allocated 100% for just non-for-profit, what is the word, I guess? For non-for-profit use, some was spent for personal use. So
Misappropriation.
yeah. So once that happened, that's how that came about. Outside of that, though, I've owned a daycare in Blackjack for 8 years called Infusion Prep Academy. After that, I named it the Scholar Academy of St. Louis. I am still the director of my daycare facility and owner. I have been for 8 years. It has absolutely nothing to do with my with me being a part of that non-for-profit organization. Those are two separate entities. As we're all aware, the federal government, if they decide to audit you, they're going to audit you from the top to the bottom. With that being said, I never had an issue. I didn't have an issue as well with putting my business in my name. I have no recommendations from any type of court that says I can't own a facility. I'm currently dressed with a scrub on because I'm coming from work. My name is still on my business as me being the owner as well as the director. I've never had an incident at any of my centers. I've owned 2 centers. I own Fly High Academy as well on the south side of St. Louis. I owned that for 2 years. I've never had any complaints at a daycare. I have gave back to my community through turkey jobs and many more. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Will I be the person that helps run the one at Ferguson? Absolutely. My name will be on it as the director as well. I also have a degree in early childhood from Flo Valley College. Let's see. So I hope that answered your question, but if you have more questions, I don't mind answering them for you.
No, that's it. I thank you for being candid and truthful. So I want to vote for the rezoning, but I had some constituents that had an issue with that. And I just wanted to bring that to the air. So it's no more discussion about that. Thank you.
Okay.
Councilman Franklin.
So I didn't have basically it was just, I wanted to hear her spiel like we heard the first spiel. So I've already made up my mind which way I'm gonna vote, so I'm good.
Anyone else?
I did have one question. The Scholar Academy up in Florissant. I don't know if the state's website was messed up or if there's an issue, but I tried to look that one up on the state website and it didn't come up.
So it wasn't a Florissant, it was of St. Louis. So it's the Scholar
Right
Academy.
now, back there. But I mean, I couldn't find it.
Did you find Infusion Prep Academy? We didn't fully switch over the name. We were in the process of switching over the name. So if you look up the Infusion Prep Academy, you'll see that it's been there since 2019, February 14th of 2019 to be exact. And it has my name on it. And it's not closed, it's still a LLC that has 73 kids under it.
So what's the name of it?
Infusion, INFUSION, Prep Academy, 3 words. And the address is 80 Blackjack Court. And if you look it up, it's going to say Simone McClellan. And if you look up our daycare license, we don't have any deficiencies.
Yes.
City manager, could you have the community development person and the economic development person try to locate this?
Yes.
Okay. Before we leave here tonight?
Sure.
I mean, I believe that you are registered because you could get any state vouchers if you weren't, but I just couldn't find it.
Are you looking for it on the Secretary of State?
No, I'm not Secretary of State, but I'm talking about on the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education has a page where you can look up a daycare and it show all the inspections and, you know, violations if they got in trouble or anything like that. And, you can look it up by name, you can look it up by address, and I couldn't find it. So, you know, like I said, given the fact that I'm assuming that you take state assistance in your site, you couldn't do that if you weren't registered with the state, but I couldn't find it, and I just need some assistance in doing so.
No problem. I hope they're able to help you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else? Councilwoman Orr?
Hopefully the business will be approved. And please invite us to the ribbon cutting if you're going to have one. Because I'd like to come, you know, and see the business. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You may have a seat.
Okay.
Back in August 2014, during the Michael Brown unrest, the West Florissant Avenue was burned down. And since then, St. Louis County had worked with the EPA to clear all those burning buildings away from West Florissant. On several occasions, the Department of Transportation met with myself, County Executive Sam Page, and at the time, Mayor Austin and Mayor Reggie Jones. It took us almost a full day to talk to the Department of Transportation to get them to grant us the monies to do the Great Street program to change the landscape on West Florissant. After several attempts, in May 18 of 2020, the Department of Transportation granted St. Louis County $18.3 million to do the landscaping and the changing of the infrastructure on West Florissant. Right now, we have the Urban League on West Florissant, which is a nonprofit. We have the Boys and Girls Club on West Florissant, which is a nonprofit. We have the Mercy Clinic on West Florissant. I think it's open for business for people to come in. Across the street, we have a strip mall that's generate retail sales. We had the McDonald's on West Florissant, and they were having a lot of problems. So they decided to close their business because they purchased the McDonald's on 270 and West Florissant. And there's a McDonald's a little bit further down on West Florissant. So we have $18.3 million. And West Florissant is a street. How many of you all have taken the time to read the grant and see how many cars pass up and down West Florissant in a course of a day? It's 30,000 cars that pass up and down West Florissant in the course of the day. And if you want to grant, we'll send you the grant. City manager and I, we have been meeting with County Executive Sam Page, looking at putting a grocery store on West Florissant. We've been talking about a grocery store. We have a couple of grocery stores that are interested. And the number one thing they tell us, you got too many liquor stores. You got a liquor store on one side of the street. You got a bar on another side of the street. And then we have several restaurants would like to take the place of where the McDonald's is. And we have talked to the McDonald's Corporation, and they're willing to work with any restaurant that would like that site. I said all of that history to say this. West Florissant needs to be a street that generates revenue. We cannot continue to have people come to Ferguson and say they want to do this and that with Ferguson, and we don't think about the future of Ferguson. We took time to do a 2040 plan to improve the landscape and the infrastructure of West Florissant. We have Great River Greenway has invested in that area to make a trailhead right where Ferguson had built the park. We have 2 storage areas on West Florissant that we are working on doing something about. We cannot fill a street that has 30,000 cars passing them every day with businesses that do not generate revenue. I am not for putting anything else on West Florissant until we start getting these grocery stores, these restaurants nailed down that would generate revenue for the city on West Florissant. Councilman Williams.
I kind of see where you're going, but it's the chicken or the egg. Like, if you build it, they'll come. So I go to Chesterfield a lot, and it's this one house, and there's a subdivision around it. So that means those people didn't sell, but everybody else sold their property. So a lot of these big corporations, if they really want the land, they'll buy out the owners. And what you're saying, that future development will come, but daycares do generate revenue. I pay about $15,000 in property tax a year. So, I mean, it's not the sales tax that you're thinking about where it's constant dollars a day, but they are going to have to pay property tax. And, you know, if you see that generating people coming, you know, they might buy out this building to build that restaurant or that grocery store that you want. But, you know, which came first, the chicken or the egg? So I think we have to crawl before we walk. But I definitely see your vision. I didn't realize that that many vehicles cross that path. If they fix it up and do the sidewalks, you'll have those businesses that want to come back, but this is a revenue generating business. It's not like the Urban League, which is a not-for-profit. This will be a for-profit business, and we will get property taxes from this location.
Councilwoman Franklin, then Councilwoman Noel.
So I agree with Councilman Williams on that. And even I'll take it a step further. The men and women that utilize that business to drop off their kids, they're in our community. They can stop for coffee, for food. They can spend money and help generate sales tax revenues.
Where?
So again, I think it's my turn to speak. So I guess what I see on that corner now is a vacant building. It's not being utilized. Why not utilize it? Like David said, if some major development comes through and there's eminent domain because we're going to build this grand plaza, great. But in the between time, I don't see anything wrong with supporting the 2 apartment complexes just north of this proposed facility that has a lot of individuals who have small young children that could utilize it and allow those individuals to go work and not be at home with their children, potentially. I don't know everybody's situation, but it's in walking distance to where they would not have to drive or get on the bus to take their children to daycare. So what may happen in 2040, the business could come and go by then. You know, I don't know, but I'll just say it now. I'm in support of allowing this special use permit for this business because I think it's an asset. It would be an asset to the community.
I would also like to note that now that we have staff in place that can help market and hopefully bring in businesses that want to come to that area. I mean, I respect the mayor's vision. I respect the history, definitely. We definitely need to, get some tax in that area, some business that can increase the tax base. But again, it is just one vacant building. And in order to get businesses here in Ferguson, we had to have staff in place. Now we have people working in community development who can help promote and invite, business owners and developers in. So it's one step at a time. We're talking about one business. It's simply one child care center, So I'm definitely going to support the business. I'm not against the business. I would be against putting another business that sold liquor on the West Florissant corridor. And that's another reason why we're working to revitalize the West Florissant Business Advisory Board, because now is the time. It took a long time just to get here, and it's going to take longer, to continue to revitalize that area. But I just, I'm definitely going to support. So again, I respect the mayor's history and her vision, but like Councilman Williams and Councilman Franklin said, I mean, we have to work with what we have now. Thank you.
Not only does his business need to do planning and zoning, when 2014 happened and a lot of people did not know there was a boundary between Dalewood. Dalewood got caught into the uprising here in Ferguson. So since then, Dalewood, Ferguson, and Jennings got together and come up with one zoning for West Florissant. This has to go to that committee that we have the special zoning for West Florissant. Did anybody take in account of the special zoning that we have for West Florissant with Jennings, Ferguson, and Dalewood? That has to go before that board also for special zoning. Yes.
Explain to the applicant at the time of the application?
It goes through planning and zoning. Planning and zoning knows about the special zoning on West Florissant. The chairperson of planning and zoning sits on that committee. along with Alan Miller, and the business administrator, for Delwood, the business administrator for Jennings. I can't be the only one that keeps up with this planning and zoning and everything needed for the West Florissant area.
Mayor,
Yes.
you have a valid point, and I respect that. But what if this was an IKEA representative and they wanted to put an IKEA there? I don't think you would,
Yes, they would have to go through the same special planning and zoning.
IKEA?
Everybody that wants to build on West Florissant.
No, I understand the planning and zoning. I'm talking about the special West Florissant corridor.
They will have to meet with that committee also. They will have to meet with that committee also. Why did we put that committee in place if we're going to ignore the fact of the zoning that we put on West Florissant?
Did Ground Zero have to do that? Because if they didn't, it's null and void.
No, it's not null and void, because the planning and zoning person at the time was Rachel, and she did know, and
but they're open
and the planning and zoning chairperson knows.
Well, could that be submitted? Could that be submitted to this council in writing? Because I'm new, and this is the first. Hold on, Mayor. This is the first I'm hearing of another requirement, and it was not done with Ground Zero. So I just would like to read what you're saying so that I can educate myself about the rules and regulations.
But you have the master copy for planning and zoning and the special planning and zoning committee that we have in place for West Florissant.
I don't have anything with me, Mayor.
So why wasn't it done for Ground Zero? You were on this. You were the main.
It becomes the community development person along with the planning and zoning and the planning and zoning council.
But
Their
council
person
approved them to operate legally, so you voted to approve them without it. What happened between last year and this year? That's my question.
Well, I didn't vote. No, I didn't vote to approve them. No, I did not.
Okay.
If you want to pull the records on that also.
I stand corrected, but I'm almost certain they didn't go to this special board or commission that you're saying that this new applicant needs to do. So I just want to see it in writing so I can read it. And
it is in writing, and it's been in writing since 2022.
Okay. I'm not arguing that fact. I'm just trying to figure out why Ground Zero didn't have to do that to open and operate that facility.
I believe that you're speaking of two different issues. So this is a special use permit because of the proximity to another childcare facility. That's why this is in front of you. When it comes to the actual zoning of business, that doesn't go through a special use permit all the time because it would be zoned correctly for that type of business, if that makes sense.
That makes complete sense.
Right. So this is a special use trying to override the zoning that is put in place by the 3 municipalities.
So there's a commission of 3 municipalities that has to get the approval for this business to be a special use for Ferguson. Is that
very much so, because it's zoned differently.
When do they meet?
Right. They meet at the call of the chairperson of the planning and zoning. If Delwood wanted to do something different, they met to put the senior citizens place there, and they called the meeting to put the new marketplace is going to be there. So that comes through our planning and zoning, our committee, our community development person. So
what's the process? What does the applicant need to do?
Go back to planning and zoning.
Okay, go back to planning and zoning for clarity. The applicant needs to go back to planning and zoning, and because clearly there was some information not explained to the applicant, or this wouldn't be stated at this time. So now that we have staff people in place, and we do have a planning and zoning chair, they can work together to make sure that the applicant does what the applicant needs to do.
Your planning and zoning chair knew this before it came to council.
So they're volunteers, the city, if this is something that's real,
It is real.
the city should be notifying applicants when they come in here to do business.
That's right.
Because it's not like our boards and commissions are paid employees that are on the clock Monday through Friday. So I'm just saying, I used to be on planning and zoning, and this is news to me. So again, I talked earlier about perception. How's this being perceived? All of this, the goal keeps moving.
The goalpost has never moved because this grant was granted to us in 2020 in lieu of making West Florissant strictly a commercial revenue driving area.
So can we have the director come back up and explain what needs to be done and how the city and.
I can bring Nathan back up. He has not been here.
Right, he's,
Yeah.
I know, that's
But
why.
the questions that you did ask, they did go back in that very short period of time. I can explain what it is.
And I want to preface this by saying I don't necessarily know if I don't want to necessarily imply that there's relevance to a business that is or is not in Ferguson to the application that's in front of this body now, because I just don't want to say too much. I was able to find the lady has an LLC registered with that name, but couldn't find any records at all for a business in Blackjack or any inspections at all in the database that I had available for the state. So I don't really know. And I don't know, there's no business license database for the city of Blackjack online. So I don't know if she has a business license. I wasn't able to find anything to say that she actually has an active childcare business license in the city of Blackjack.
Did you look at the DESI database?
Yes, found absolutely nothing. So.
If you go on Google, the third time we got to put the name of the.
City manager, you have anything else to add?
At this point, everything's been said, and you guys probably close the hearing and then go to your vote when you do.
Okay, the hearing is now closed. We move to the next item on the agenda. Where's my agenda? The next item on the agenda is our consent agenda for city council meeting minutes, regular council meeting minutes for September the 23rd, 2025, and the regular council meeting minutes for November the 18th, 2025. Yes, Councilwoman Noor.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. I did send an email, just asking if the information in, from 9/23/2025, the minutes stated that there were no miscellaneous comments, and there were two other issues. Let me pull up the email. I just want to make sure that the minutes are correct before we vote to approve them. Did Dave, were you able to look that or? Well, that's my question. I mean, that was my question for clarity. Are the minutes correct before we approve them?
You can pass the minutes with the necessary
The minutes
approver.
The minutes were sent out. If you think there needs to be changes, we can amend them and when those changes will be added, but.
Well, I was
You sent
asking
an
for
email.
clarity.
When did you send that email?
I sent the email Monday morning.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
Correct.
So,
We
I mean-
saw the
And those
email.
changes are in there?
As far as I know, yes. But
Okay.
I can't make.
They're in the
I
minutes.
can't make any additional changes without a motion being made by council to make those amendments. I can't do that via email. So everything I saw in the email was in there, but if you saw something incorrect, that needs to be brought forth here to make the change.
Okay, please do.
I'd like to move to approve the minutes for September 23rd, subject to the changes in the email from Councilor Noah and the minutes of November 18th, for which there were no corrections.
Okay.
Is there a second?
Second, Naquita Noah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The regular meeting minutes for 9/23 and 11/18 has been stand. We go to boards and commission meeting minutes. The Civilian Review Board 11-3 and the Ferguson Special Business District Board for 10-20. I request a motion and a second to receive and file the commission meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second, let me copy too.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. The minutes will be received and filed. We don't have any appointments for tonight. We don't have any requests for tonight. We have a proclamation tonight. Due to the lateness of the hour, I will abridge the proclamation, and is the proclamation in recognition of the Human Rights Day. Whereas in 1948, the leaders of 48 countries from around the world declared with one voice that the process depends on defending human rights, and that a nation is strongest when the contribution of its whole citizenry and value. Whereas the city of Ferguson shares the value and beliefs of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and acknowledges that all humans are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and they are endowed with reason and conscience, and should act toward one another in the spirit of brotherhood. Now I, therefore, Ella Jones, the mayor of Ferguson, do hereby proclaim December the 10th as Human Rights Day, our everyday essentials. We move to the next item on the agenda. It's resolutions. We have no resolutions at this time. We have bill number 7322. It needs to be introduced. Is there any members on council would like to introduce bill number 7322? This is concerning the child care.
I have a question. I would like to introduce the bill, but in light of everything that has been said, that evidently the applicant is going to have to work with the city to ensure that all of the steps have been taken. I mean, I'll introduce the bill,
We
but
can also table it.
it sounds like we do need to table it. I would like to,
Introduce the bill.
But Councilwoman Orr has the floor.
so again, you can co-sponsor. I don't have an issue with that. You know, I want to support the bill, but my question is, for clarity, we can go ahead and sponsor the bill and then table it, and then until the applicant in the city works out all of these circumstances, or can someone explain?
If you're going to table a bill, you cannot really to be sponsored.
I'll go ahead and sponsor, and if someone wants to co-sponsor.
So without objections, Councilwoman Noor and Councilman Franklin will sponsor the bill. Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill by title only?
Components of the city of Ferguson is very granting a special use permit for 9790 West Forest Avenue, for the purpose of operation of conditions, restrictions, and requirements set forth here.
City manager?
Yeah, Mayor and Council, usually with the first reading, there's not too much more discussion after the hearing, especially just now. So this could give us time to do whatever you guys want us to do, and work with the lady to get the information that everyone needs before the next council meeting. Because it takes 2 votes to pass.
Okay. Bill number 7323.
I'll sponsor that.
Without objection, it will be introduced by Councilman Kassoff and Mayor Ella Jones. A city attorney, could you please read the bill by title only?
State of Ferguson for vacating an unimproved portion of the right of way at Badger Avenue, between North Elizabeth Avenue and the improved portion of the right-of-way Thatcher Avenue and Lewis Avenue, subject to conditions, restrictions, and requirements set forth there.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the first one will affect potentially up to 30 homes, I believe, where, some of these side lots will not be able to be divided, in the street. The other one is why we have not put up the 830 South Florissant Road, because we need to vacate the street, before we can sell it. That's a street that runs right in the property. And we want to vacate that before we were able to sell that property down there.
Okay, thank you. Bill number 7324, without objection, introduced by Councilman Kassoff and Mayor Ella Jones. City Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill by title only?
An ordinance amending certain sections within section 36-5 relating to signs.
City manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I'm gonna let Councilman Kassoff speak on this since he wrote it and is a big part of it, but I do want to just bring to council's attention, we do bring down a lot of signs. We do bring down a lot of I'll buy your house. You guys may not see it, but we bring them down before anybody sees it. We've actually had people put up benches on the roadway that we have taken down numerous times. It's hard to catch people because a lot of these businesses are run out of whether it's California or somewhere like that, and they just have a Missouri phone number. But we do take a lot down, a lot more signs than what council probably is aware of.
Okay, thank you. Bill number 7325. Without objections, we will find somebody to introduce bill number 7325. That is the zoning of the property from residential to commercial.
You know, this is another one that I don't mind sponsoring, but until the business works with the owners in the city, you know, where are we at? But it still has to have a sponsor. The bill has to have a sponsor to proceed.
So you sponsoring the bill? The bill is being sponsored by Councilwoman North. City Attorney Ryan, could you please read the bill by title only?
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, amending the zoning code and map to change the existing zoning of certain property from R1B Single Family Residence District to C1 General Commercial District.
City Manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, after listening to everything, it almost would be good, maybe the city could facilitate where we can get the residents and the business together and have a meeting and let the mayor out some differences and bring it back to council.
Okay. Bill number 7326.
I'll sponsor that.
Bill number 7326, sponsored by Councilman Kassoff and Noor. Attorney Ryan, could you read the bill by title only?
Thank you, Mayor. An ordinance of the city of Ferguson, Missouri, vacating a certain portion of the right-of-way Minter Industrial Drive, subject to the conditions, restrictions, and requirements set forth herein.
City Manager.
Yes, Mayor and Council, our relationship with MSD has grown quite a bit. They're asking for, they bought the old school property. Within that school property, there's a vacant lot on the north side of the street, which they will put a turnaround in for them to be able to put a fence across Minter Industrial, which then would be vacated towards them. The circle would then become ours, responsibility to maintain. And this is more for security of their equipment and their personnel.
Okay, thank you. We move to bills requiring second reading. And bill number 7321 has been tabled. So now we move to bill number 7322. No,
No, we're done.
7321 on my paper, it's 7322. Okay. So we're going to move to any unfinished business. Councilwoman Orr.
Thank you. Right quick, I have unfinished business. In the last council meeting, the Public Works Director presented a plan to improve 16 streets throughout the city between now and I guess the end of 2026, and only 3 streets in Ward 3. And residents have spoken out about that. And so, you know, I know that there's only so much money, but my ask is that, and I have copies here, I made copies of the areas. On Hearn Avenue in Ferguson, the portion of Hearn in Ferguson, as well as Rouse at Dupree. And this is not a full street improvement, just a small portion of the street. If that can be assessed and possibly added, because Hearn at that area is really, really bad, as well as Rouse and Dupree. And I did make copies for the council and the city, so I'm just going to pass these out. Thank you.
Any other unfinished business? Here none, we move to new business. Do we have any new business? Here none, we move to miscellaneous. Councilwoman Orr.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Okay, well, first, the Nesbit Nude meeting is going to be tomorrow, Wednesday, the 17th at 6 p.m. at the Ferguson Empowerment Center. I would like to thank you all who came out and supported the Ferguson Special Business District Holiday Street Fest. It was cold, but it was nice. We had a good time. And, you know, a young woman, a young mom and her daughter caught the bus to come out here to get toys. And so her baby could, you know, meet Santa Claus and Miss Claus. And the story just really touched me. And it just goes to show that, you know, people are really paying attention to Ferguson, and what we do here does matter. I will, well, not I, but the Ferguson Special Business District will start planning sooner for the Holiday Street Fest and any other events that they're planning to have next year. I do appreciate staff. I know we kind of went round and round about a couple of things, and it's not to be negative in any way, but a lot of clarity needed to be understood. And, you know, you have to understand a lot of these boards and commission members are new, just like I'm new to the council liaison position for FSBD. And I'm glad that we have a staff person in place that FSBD can work with that is knowledgeable. Not that Dave is not. Dave, you did great. It's just that, you know, he comes here with lots of experience, and we appreciate that. Next year, everyone, we will have fire pits and outdoor heater lamps in case the temperatures are frigid like they were last week. We are still seeking people to serve on the Ferguson boards and commissions. And let's see, what else do we have? I want the residents who live on Wilman Court, Harrison, LC, Etna, Grove, Edge Hill, and other streets not named to know, you know, you're not forgotten about when it comes to these street improvements. A lot of residents, I asked them to come to the council meeting and speak, you know, or send an email. And, you know, people unfortunately are fearful of that. I don't know why, but they are. So it is about building and rebuilding trust in the community as we work together to revitalize Ferguson. I just want everyone to know that I'm not against people utilizing the trolley, that it was not what my question was about. But you do have to understand that, again, residents may not come out to the council meeting to speak out or send an email, but they will pull me to the side. They do hold me accountable. They do want to understand what is going on, and they are following the dollars. You know, as homeowners insurance rises, as our taxes rise, everyone knows what's going on the federal level. It's important. We have to be more than accountable. And with me, it's not about blame. It's not about being hard on anyone. Residents hold me accountable too. they do, they question, well, what about this, Councilwoman, or what about that? So with that said, I appreciate you all. Again, thank you, staff. Thank you, everyone that came out tonight. Happy holidays, and everyone be safe and well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Orr. Councilwoman Covington.
Okay, so I don't have a lot to follow after that. Happy holidays, happy new year, and see you guys in 2026. Hopefully. Will I be here?
If the world don't come to an end.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Covington. Councilman Castle.
Yes, I want to briefly address something that came up during this meeting. There are some people who think that the sign ordinance proposal that I introduced this evening is based on animosity toward the Urban League. I want to make it very clear. The Urban League does a lot of great work. I love the Urban League. The food pantries are the area that I've been involved in, but I know they do a lot of other things, and I appreciate the hard work that they do. However, we as a city have to follow the Constitution, and that the Constitution of the United States is my number one. Freedom of speech. Now, the Supreme Court in 2014, in a 9-0 ruling, that means all the conservatives and all the liberals agreed that any regulation of a sign must be content neutral. That means we are forbidden from saying the Urban League is good people, so we're going to let those signs stay up, but the KKK is bad people, so we're going to take those signs down. If you allow anyone to put signs on those poles, you have to allow everyone. And any law or application of the law, that basically what it comes down to is if you have to read the sign to know whether it can stay up or has to come down, then that's not a content neutral law, and it's presumptively unconstitutional. Now, anybody in Ferguson can get a sign from the Urban League and put it in their yard. And if you go down Lucas and Hunt between Natural Bridge and St. Charles Rock Road, you'll see a lot of residents in that stretch have elected to do so. I think that's great. Now, I was on traffic commission, and I'm skeptical about signs slowing people down. Speed bumps are good. I think roads that open up into a chasm if you're 30 over the speed limit would be wonderful, but probably a liability to the city. But the bottom line deal is regulation of speech has to be content neutral. We can specify where signs can go. We can specify how big they can be, but we can't say that sign's good and that sign's bad. So if you put a sign in your yard and I don't like what it says, it would be a violation of your constitutional rights for me to take action based on that, and it would be in the name of the city. So I will always defend everybody's constitutional rights. I will, in cases where our city laws may be unclear or contradictory, I may seek to amend those ordinances to be compliant and protect everybody's right to free speech. But in the case of these signs being put on the poles, and the Urban League's only the latest to do it. We've had car dealers do it. We've had ugly houses do it. We've had We Buy diabetic strips, people putting signs on those poles. And number one, it's distracting to drivers and dangerous. And number two, it looks trashy. So it is no criticism or attack on the Urban League that I'm proposing this ordinance. It is simply a matter of wanting to be consistent in our enforcement in Ferguson and making sure, by the way, if there's no ordinance against it, we really shouldn't be taking the signs down. We have an ordinance that specifically says you can't put a sign on public property. So if I put a sign in the park, it's supposed to be taken down. And I see you shaking your head, and maybe they don't always happen. I can't speak for what happens out there in the real world. What I can say is we have an ordinance that prohibits it. And but we don't exactly have an ordinance that prohibits you from going to that speed limit 30 mph sign on Airport Road and putting campaign signs up and down that pole. If it's on public property, the ordinance against public property would cover it. A lot of those sign poles are not on public property. If you've got a stop sign in the grass in your yard, that's not public property there. So I want it to be clear that the city does not allow the posting of signs on those poles. Nothing to do with the Urban League, who does great work in our city. Everybody, I hope you have a great holiday and look forward to seeing you all in January.
Thank you, Councilman Castle. Councilman Franklin.
So for those of you that aren't already attending, I just wanted to encourage residents to get involved with your neighborhood organizations. I was at the Jeske Park meeting last night, and Dr. Lee Anderson, she was there, one of our monitors for the consent decree, and she provided a lot of historical information, actually kind of opened my eyes as to why the consent decree has taken so long. You know, there were certain things that were supposed to be in place, I believe within the first 180 days of the consent decree. And it took Ferguson 8+ years to get those things in place. So when we talk about all the money we spend, a lot of it had to do with our own negligence and not getting things done in a timely manner. And those type of things, you can't ignore. When I ran for office, one of my campaign promises was that I would make myself more accessible to residents other than this Tuesday meeting. A lot of folks can't make these Tuesday evening meetings because they're working, they have families, they have other obligations. So starting January 1st of the new year, I'll start my Coffee with the Councilman. I'll be at local businesses here in Ferguson, making myself available to residents that want to come out, voice your concerns, ideas, or just get some FaceTime with your councilman in Ward 2. This first one will be from 11 to 1. I'm going to start at the Garden in January, and I'm going to move it around the entire city of Ferguson just to help patronize some of our local businesses. Also, in the new year, I'm working with some good local organizations, EBL, some of the Ferguson businesses. We're going to put off a Ferguson MLK Unity Day. It's going to be a tour. We're going to go to different businesses. There's going to be a lot of good things going on that holiday. So stay tuned for more information about that. And definitely want to wish everybody a safe and happy New Year. Enjoy your holiday, and it's been real.
Thank you, Councilman Franklin. Councilman Palmer.
I have nothing this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Williams.
So want to wish everybody happy holidays, New Year. I'm not a very religious guy, but I'm very spiritual. I don't go to church anymore. I did that enough when I was younger, forcefully by my mom, but it made me a better man. So anything we do, we need to put God first. If you don't put God first, it's not going to succeed. Also, we can agree to disagree. So one thing I've noticed about Ferguson residents, they're very passionate. Either side you're on, they're very passionate. So it's okay to have dialogue. We might not agree on everything, but we need to be respectful when we have that dialogue. So it's okay to disagree, but let's disagree respectfully. All right. God bless. I'm out. You guys have a good evening.
Thank you. City Clerk.
I'll just wish everybody happy holidays, and we'll see everybody in January. Thank you, Mayor.
The close of filing.
Oh. December 30th.
Close of filing is December the 30th. Okay. Filing for mayor for the election. Okay. That has nothing to do with your race. The mayoral race is always a race by itself. Okay. City Manager Hampton, excuse me, Attorney Ryan.
Mayor, thank you.
Okay, now City Manager.
Yeah, Saturday night, it was a little too cold for a Santa and Sirens, so that's being moved to tomorrow night. Friday night at the community center is the Winter Palooza, I believe they call it. And then Sunday we'll have our last Santa and Sirens. In the apartments, I believe it is.
Yeah.
It came pretty quick this year.
Yeah, it did.
So, but yeah, I wish everybody a happy Christmas, and I hope all the girls get all their dolls they need, and then everyone else get all the toy soldiers and everything else they want.
Thank you. My list is super long. It is super long. On December the 17th, George Robnet he's no kin to the Robinets. He's a Robnet, not a Robinet. He is from a consumer company, and he will be at your meeting, Nesbitt Newton meeting, and I believe he's going to speak first. So seniors who would like to hear his spiel on being a senior and a consumer, we ask that you will go there at 6 o'clock, listen to his spiel, and he will give you a $30 gift certificate for listening. By no means anyone has the right to call him and ask him for a gift certificate. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. The second thing I would like to say thank you to Under Law, who sponsored Santa and Sirens for the city of Ferguson. And the fire department and the police department are doing a great job with the donation that we got from Under Law. The third thing I would like to talk about is the election for mayor. I did call St. Louis County Board of Election, and in speaking with them, they would like to know if the city of Ferguson would like to change the way they do their election process. All the attorney has to do is get in a charter and call Eric or either the other person over the board of election, and they will make the switch for the city of Ferguson. Most of your municipalities, your school boards, is handled by the Board of Election. But Ferguson is a charter city, and it has to be, the attorney has to look at it and then come up with a suggestion for the council if they want to make the switch. In addition to that,
To file at the board.
to run for councilperson or file to run for mayor. We are a charter city, so we do it ourselves. If we want to change that, the attorney has to read the charter and get in touch with the Board of Election, with the council, and let the Board of Election handle the process. In addition to that, everyone has the right to run for mayor. In the 1964 Civil Rights Act, in the 1965 Voters' Rights Act, give everyone the privilege to file and run for office. In 2015, I had 4 opponents. In 2017, I had 2. In 2018, I had 2. And in 2020, I had 2. In 2023, I had 3. Everyone has the same right. If we start proceeding to tell people, don't run, you are violating their civil rights. I had several people call me and say that they would run, they would pick up a packet, but they were instructed not to do it. And as I explained to those people, whoever instruct people to not to pick up a packet, you are violating those people's civil rights. None of us has the right to violate people's civil rights. We talk about racism and it's alive and well in Ferguson, but that's part of racism. When you instruct people not to run because you want to stack the deck. I wish somebody would have stacked the deck for me. All the times I ran, nobody stacked the deck for me. So everyone has the right to pick up a packet and file. Number 4. I don't know Roger Hearns, but I'm inviting him to come to our next council meeting and stand at the podium and have his 3 minutes to explain to me how I have doomed this city. I need him to explain that to me. Yes, he has his First Amendment rights, and he gets on Facebook. I'm not going to comment on Facebook, but as a man, if I am dooming this city, then he should be able to come to the council meeting and confront me as a woman and as the mayor as to why I have doomed this city. So, Roger Hearns, if you're listening, please accept my invitation. In addition to that, I want to give kudos to Corey Gilbert and the Public Works. They have worked untiring on keeping this street shoveled with snow, working with STPs. And I just want to dispel a myth that Corey does talk to the engineer. John and I talks to the engineer because we have so many STPs. And we are at the point after talking to East West Gateway and the engineer, they are going to send us the information on all the SCPs of the federal dollars that we have garnered for this city. So this city is doing awfully well when it comes to STP and that surface transportation projects. And we have 3 since I've been sitting on the board of East West Gateway. That particular entity has billions of dollars from the Department of Transportation. And I go to every meeting to make certain that Ferguson get his fair share. So if people want to complain about me going to meetings, then complain, because I go to get Ferguson's fair share and then some. Complain about me going to meet Sam Page. I talk to Sam Page all the time. And John and I talk to Sam Page. That's why Elizabeth was scheduled for 2026 and it was done in 2025. We had opioid that was passed up by the last city manager. I went to another meeting, talked with some nonprofits. They talked with the city manager. Now we have the funding for opioids. So if you're going to complain about me going to meetings, complain about the fact that the things I bring home for the city of Ferguson, just like the city manager talked about taking 6 minutes extra to go to the house fire in Starlight. The first thing, the president of MoDOT heard my mouth. He called the meeting. with the city manager, police, our police chief, Flores, and everybody. When we got finished with him, he asked the Department of Transportation through East-West Gateway to allot $155,000 to correct that problem on Purcell. If you're going to sit in this seat as mayor, it takes more than running a meeting on a Tuesday night. It takes you going to the Missouri Municipal League, getting on boards. The previous mayor was the president of the Missouri Municipal League. I chose not to do that. This seat is not a seat for the faint in heart, because people are going to talk about you when you do good, and they're going to talk about you when you make a mistake. You got to be focused on building a city. It takes all of us up here working together. I was raised with 5 brothers and 3 sisters. We fought every day. But when it was time for us to stick together, we stuck together in the same way as here. So do not take these jobs lightly. In addition to that, everyone on this council should be NIM certified. If a disaster happened, and Heather can tell you, she was on council, the first thing FEMA asks is all the members on the council certified. If you have not gotten your NIM certification, you need to get it. Nathan already has his. There's another bill that we need to pass that's very important, and it's the emergency management bill for the city. When the flood came in 2022, John was not the city manager, he was the fire department. We had a city manager that did not listen to anything I had to say. He didn't want to listen to anything the fire chief had to say. We do have everything down pat in a document that needs to be approved by the city. John is not going to be here always. That document needs to be ratified as to how we work when it comes to an emergency. John had to fight with FEMA to get the necessary funding for the city, because we had a city manager that did not listen to him and did not listen to me. So there's a lot of things that need to be done. People are saying you need to do a lot of things before April. I will be doing a lot of things for April, but whoever's sitting in this seat, don't think it's an easy seat to sit in, because it requires a lot of you as a person and a person who cares about this city. I've been living in this city 50 years, and I've seen West Florissant on its heyday. I've seen West Florissant on its worst day. I know Florissant Road when it was empty, and people got together who live here to rebuild Florissant Road. So it takes a lot to sit in any one of these seats. And the pay is not great. You think you could live with $250? Go ahead. I don't make nothing but $350, and the government take that. And every time I go to Washington, D.C., I fly on my own money. And all these meetings that I roll around, I roll in my own money. So you have to be willing to extend yourself for the city you say you love. And when I leave this seat, guess what? I'm not moving. I'm still going to live in Ferguson, and I'll be your worst nightmare. At this point, I'm calling for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, Mickey Covington.
All in favor?
Aye.
Have a good holiday.
Somebody told me that when I didn't know.